Okay, welcome everybody to our October PaperWorks meeting. I'm Bobby Wilson, president of this wonderful organization of creative people that we learn so much from each other. So we're glad you're here. I just want to say this is only one of two Zoom meetings, purely Zoom meetings that we are having this year. And the reason is we could not get a space to rent for our second Thursday meeting. St. Francis or St. Philip's was not available. And it also worked out that our speaker, Karen Hanmer, is from Illinois. So it worked out well. But I want to say that we are also recording our meetings. They're usually two parts, the first hour and the second hour. And we post them on our YouTube channel. And I have to say, our YouTube channel, we keep getting more and more people subscribing to that. So we have 163 people, and some are from Australia and all over the country. So I don't know where this is coming from, but it's very nice. So I think that's great. So you can catch our meetings on our YouTube channel if you can't log in during that time frame. And also when we have the live meetings, it is a little bit harder to do Zoom. We're trying our best to do hybrid meetings also, so to reach our members. But invite your friends to come to our meetings. We really appreciate when you bring a guest. They're open to everybody. So I have a lot to cover in this meeting. And a lot of people to call on. So let's get started. First with Mara Crummens. And Mara did the recipes for life. And I'm going to ask Mara to unmute. And I am going to spotlight Mara. Oh, and then I have to get let's see. And I need to screen. I'm going to share screen. Okay. So you want, oh, that's right. You're going to share screen.
I need to share my screen, right?
Yes. Okay, got it. So this is Mara Crummens.
Hello, everybody. Let me get this into slideshow and we can go from there, hopefully. Come on. There we go. All right. So I hope you guys all had a very fun and productive summer. I want to thank those members that participated in our Spring Summer Creative Challenge. We're hoping that that got your imagination and creative energy flowing a little bit. A little bit about why this appealed to me. The recipe format is very familiar to me. Like many of you, I had my first encounters in the kitchen with my mother and my grandmothers. I loved watching them see a recipe and use it as a starting point, and then instinctually add their own touches to absolutely everything that they made. We're definitely a family who loves to experiment with ingredients and cook from our hearts, and a little bit of soul in there is not so bad either. I also had the fun of writing a cookbook myself back in my investment banking days. I had a lot of free time. I was a bond analyst for a mutual fund, and I had a lot of free time while I waited for the markets to open or close in New York, because we were on New York schedule, even though we were in Chicago. And it was a real challenge to actually write in a traditional recipe format, measurements and instructions on the dishes that I'd been making forever, just by feel. So I challenge any of you to do that. It is an interesting process. And there may actually be a round 2 coming up in my future, as I've added quite a bit to my culinary repertoire. And the last one wasn't illustrated or did not have artwork in it. So I'd like to, I think, incorporate that this time around. When I discovered the book Recipes for Disaster, which this challenge is based on, I thought it would be an amazing project for a group of creative people to try. I feel that almost anything in life can be broken down into a quote recipe of sorts. And Bobby had mentioned something interesting to me the other day. She said it really makes you consider what is important in what you're trying to convey, and to consolidate those salient points down into steps. So I thought it was kind of fun. Hopefully you all did too. So before we begin the show, I would also like to thank Bobby for her guidance on this project, and Ann Lusick for her much needed technical help. I appreciate it. I am nowhere near a technical ninja, so all of that is greatly appreciated when someone can step in. So here's our cover thing. Wait, let me, okay, it'll do this. Let me move. Can you all see everybody's name as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this first entry, Sue Agnew gave us a very timely recipe for how to re-enter society as the pandemic wanes. I love her idea of doing small drawings over the past 2 years and then being able to look back at the overall themes. And I'll invite you at the end to go to the website so that you can examine all of these recipes more closely. So thank you, Sue, for a great entry. Our next one is by Gretchen Bierbaum, and she created an entry defining art statistically. And it's kind of fun to see where you fall on the bell curve. I'm hoping my work falls somewhere to the right side of the curve, maybe not with the gas station paintings on velvet. And it's eye-opening to realize that only 2% of art ends up in major museums. It gives a much needed bit of perspective to those of us who toil creatively all the time. So thank you, Gretchen. Diane Cheshire sent in a whimsically drawn and colorful recipe for how to create. I love her playful shapes and colors, and it made me review the steps in my head to see if I actually do them when I sit down and to create. So thanks for the thought pattern, Diane. Mabel Dean created the next recipe for the reinvented thank you note. I myself will look at my discarded work in a new way after seeing her take on how to reinvigorate old work. I think it's a wonderful way to share with others in a personal and meaningful way. So thank you, Mabel. We were also graced with the second entry from Mabel, which is a more traditional take on a recipe with her sweet potato cakes. And I love any meal that can be made in 15 minutes and is delicious. So I look forward to trying this out. Thanks again, Mabel. Rebecca Gans submitted this beautifully illustrated recipe for how to buy the right bike. I never realized that there were so many options. I'm not a biker, or questions to be asked. I will have a new appreciation for the bikers on the roads in Tucson. Thanks, Rebecca. Okay, and Rebecca also, we were lucky to have a second entry from her for the recipe for the ideal road trip. Once again, she created such a detailed and colorful spread of her journey from Tucumcari, New Mexico to Indianola, Iowa, with a great list of supplies and instructions around the edges. Thank you, Rebecca, for some inspiration for my upcoming road trip. I think I'll bring some pens and other stuff along. I did the next one. It's the recipe for the perfect art play date. I thought of exactly what I would want to throw in a bowl and mix up, and tried to use some cooking terms to give it a little bit of structure. I also created the next entry for a traditional recipe for my favorite sangria. We have spent a lot, and I mean a lot of time in Spain, and I love their take on sangria made with brandy. It is definitely at the top of my list for a spring summer cocktail. I'm sure a lot of you enjoy sangria as well. Anne-Marie Little sent us her version of a recipe for a good life. I love her bold colors and hand-lettered text and the message that we can never forget to be kind and brave. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Krista Nice, along with Lynn Blair, created the next piece in a letter form. This recipe is an imaginative take on a theme party that revolves around fudge. And I don't know too many people who would not enjoy attending a fudge party. So it's a very whimsical story. I encourage you to go back and read it. So thank you, Krista. She also gave us another entry about a piece with a poem. She did the artwork, and the poem is by Bill Williams, that focuses on giving into the need for a nice cold Pepsi and the steps he took to try and quit. I know we can all relate to this in some sort of way. I know I'm trying to give up sugar, so I understand the need for a cold Pepsi every now and again. Thank you, Krista. Judy Norkowitz sent in this wonderful collage piece entitled Judy's Stew, showing all of the women who came before her in her family. And you can imagine that all of them have contributed something to the person she is today. So I thought this was a really interesting take on family. Thank you, Judy. Doreen Rogers created the recipe for tracking your time that uniquely incorporates some sayings we've all come to know about time. I really enjoyed how she thought about and presented this. So thank you, Doreen, for your creative input. Laura Russell created a piece on the 7 habits of highly creative book and paper artists, which is full of useful tips and info. I love how her brain works. This fabulous piece can then be cut and folded into a small book. So if any of you would like to receive this in PDF format, because it's hard to get off of the screen, please email me and I'm happy to send you a copy so that you can make your own little book. So thank you so much, Laura. Emily Sullivan sent in a recipe for Gertrude's jelly roll. I love her imaginative use of the artist mannequins and the colorful bowls in her layout. I think it was a very fun and bold way to present a traditional recipe card. Thank you, Emily. Michelle Vaughn gave us the next entry of a recipe for stress reduction, illustrated with her charming drawings of figures doing all the poses. I know I could definitely benefit from implementing some of this, although I don't know that I could fold myself into some of these forms. So thank you, Michelle, who is much more bendy than me. Bobby Wilson created this beautiful piece for a recipe for a festive carrot cake. And if you pay close attention, while it may look like a traditional food recipe, the ingredients are all different uses of the word carrot. And I thought this was a really creative and imaginative way to think about something. So thank you, Bobby. And our last entry is a recipe from Bobby, also for an awesome hike. And I love the way she included the pictures in the meandering line, which kind of takes you around the page. And it ends up finally with her pose, with her arms up, of the Bobby pose at the end. So I'll be doing that pose next time I go hiking. So thank you so much, Bobby.
You're welcome.
So I hope you all enjoy this. I hope those submitting something had fun with the process, and I challenge everybody to give it a try sometime. So if you want to look at the entries up close and in more detail, and they really do warrant some additional time spent on them, please go to the front page of the website, and you'll see the green cover for the recipes for life. So I appreciate your time and creative energy. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mara. Do you want to stop? Okay, stop
Yes.
Screen sharing. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Let's see, stop share. There we go.
there
Good.
you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Any comments from people? I thought it was really fun to see the entries. Yeah, people are like, wow. So yeah, and Mara, I want to thank you for the idea, which I thought was great, which made us all think out of the box. And I encourage everybody to try it. And I loved seeing all the varied entries that we got. So
we are
yeah.
definitely a creative bunch, that's for sure.
Thank you. And like I said, it's going to be on the front page of the screen. It's posted there on our webpage. So you can go back and take some time and look through the entries that we got. So thank you, Mara. And
My pleasure.
Let's see. Hold on. I want to remove spotlight. Hold on. And okay. Thank you. Let's move on. And I want to introduce our scholarship student, Jaden. And Jaden, I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I am going to spotlight you. And hi, Jaden. I met you real quickly at Pima College when we gave our scholarships, and you were one of the 5 students from Pima. And I just got to talk to you a little bit, but and your artwork is posted on our webpage. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, first of all, you're going to University of Arizona and what you're doing now.
So I'm a graduate student studying astrophysics right now and astrochemistry. I take a lot of art classes to exercise my creativity and have a break from the math, and started taking printmaking last year and loved it, and have stayed in the same class for the past couple semesters. My art is mostly inspired by my culture. I'm Badonkahe'ende Apache. And so I pull from a lot of our stories and my experiences. My print Nabi is from a coming of age ceremony I went through. And so I wanted to do something to honor that memory. My other sources I pull from are I salvage roadkill and clean them up and give them like a proper use and bury their bones and bodies. I actually have, this is Penelope. I salvaged her 2 years ago. She's a javelina. And I've done, my first etching was of her.
Oh, wow.
And so I
Wow.
did the flower crown like the others, Martos, and her skull. Another one I worked on was an owl skull. And that's an owl that I salvaged, a great horned owl I salvaged off the highway. So I take their feathers, take their bones, clean them up. I have a colony of dermestids that clean up the bones. And then I burn or bury their organs and flesh and everything to give them like a proper like rest. I garden a lot. I'm actually working on a piece right now called The Seasons, and I'm trying to use different traditional plants that we harvest from because my people are hunter-gatherers, we don't farm. So I'm trying to gather those plants and then incorporate them into a print for each of the seasons. So I'm excited about that. I'm working on the blocks right now, and if I had planned properly, it would only take a year, but it'll probably be done next winter because I didn't harvest things this summer. So, but yeah, that's a little about me, about my art and what I do.
Wow. So you're taking the printmaking back at Pima College this
Yes.
year?
Yes.
Okay. And wow, you are multi-talented. That's something. Questions from our membership. If anybody wants to unmute themselves and comment or say something. I think it's wonderful. So what you've done, your prints were wonderful. And when I get to the PaperWorks page, I can your prints are on our page there too. So, well, we thank you for showing us what you're up to. Yes, somebody.
I just had a quick comment. I love that you are giving the animals a more respectful rest. I love that. And then you're also doing the bones. That's just very, very cool, very thoughtful. And I feel it's a great thing. It made me feel warm in a weird way. But, yeah. Because when you said roadkill, it was like, oh man, what is he doing with roadkill? But I loved your explanation. It was really, that was cool. Thank you. That was nice to hear and see.
Yeah, thank you. And I also have a question about your colony that you mentioned to clean up the carcass.
Yes.
What was that?
They're dermestid beetles.
Dermestic?
Dermestid with the D at the end.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And, yeah, they're flesh-eating beetles. There's one type that eats like carpet and fur, which you don't want, and there's one type that only eats flesh, and those are the kind like they use in museums to clean off museum specimens, and the kind they use to clean off bones.
Great, thank you. And Bobby, your face looks like you've tasted something bad.
And Jaden, I had a question for you.
Yes.
Did you mention that you are part Apache and part, what was the other native?
But Badonkahe'ende is the band of Apache.
Oh, it's the band of Apache.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jaden. That's
thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
And we'd love for you to come to our live meeting or bring some more of your work or just hear more from you. So it's great. And we're honored to have you part of us. So
thank you.
Thank you, Jaden. Do you have a website or anything like that? Or
I don't know.
Okay. Well, and you sound like a very busy guy with all that you have going on. Yeah. Well, and members, we can go on to our webpage, and Jaden's work is on the webpage on the last page on our scholarship winners. So thank you very much, Jaden.
Thank you.
Okay, let me remove spotlight. And oh, whoops. Okay, and now I am going to go to Laurel Moorhead, who has a quick announcement. Hold on, Laurel. I'm going to ask you to unmute and spotlight you. And Laurel is a great member of ours. Oh, she's also San Diego Book Arts. You probably know Laurel from San Diego, but anyway, Laurel joined PaperWorks too. So she's our member. And tell us about your project that's going on.
So, first of all, I prefer Lori.
Lori, okay, sorry.
Laurel is my formal name, but
Okay.
yeah, thank you. So I am not doing this as a part of any specific organization. We're doing this project among friends, meaning anybody who wants to participate. The idea came from a little workshop that I took with Yucca Pets through Minnesota Center for Book Arts, and it was called Mystery Box, Make a Book. And Yucca sent everybody a box of materials in a small priority mailbox. And then you had to wait for the Zoom meeting, and you had 1 hour to take everything in the box, everything that was inside the box, and use it to make a book. And then you could talk about it. And we got, in the group, people got similar but different things. There was some variation and some uniformity to what everyone got. Anyway, it was really fun. It was really stressful in a good way. It pushes you out of your normal go-tos and comfort zone. I tend to be very, very colorful in my work, and I did it with her twice, and I got both times the color palette was very limited in my opinion. But you know, I had fun. I did it. And so Jane Sprague, who is a book artist in Long Beach, California area, she approached me and said, why can't we do some collaborative projects? And I said, sure. So this is the first one that we came up with. We're calling it Box of Surprises, Make a Book Collaborative Project. And what makes it really collaborative is, instead of having one person, the instructor, sending out all the boxes, I make a box and send it to Bobby. Bobby makes a box and sends it to Jane, and Jane makes a box and sends it to somebody else. So we're all connecting with at least 2 people within the group. And then we'll have the Zoom meeting with a designated time. There's been 4 people that I would know well took that same class that I did, and we all agreed that 90 minutes would be much better. So we're giving 90 minutes during the Zoom to take what you get and make it into a book. The deadline to register is this Sunday at midnight Pacific time, and I am going to drop in contact information. There's a link where you can basically see the rules of the project and and also register at that site. You don't have to register if you don't want to. And then my email, if you have any questions specific that aren't included in that. We have 33 people from across the country so far signed up. And I mean, really across the country, because when I did that last collaborative project that connected 7 organizations, I've kind of lucked out and got to be friends with people literally all over the country, and they've stepped up. So anyway, so that's basically my announcement. You have just a few more days to sign up to learn about it. If you have, like I said, if you have any specific questions, let me know. I will be closing registration Sunday night and sending out the mailing buddy list on Monday. Oh, that's the other thing, is that this project is a really pretty fast turnaround, in that once you get the list, there's 3 weeks between knowing who you're mailing to and when we start having these meetings. So that gives you a week to prepare it, and I calculate, 2 hours maximum to go through your studio. And that's what we want. You just take stuff from your studio. Don't buy anything. Take stuff from your studio, think about what you could make a little book out of, and there's some little bit of guidelines. So gives you 3 weeks to get that assembled, get it in the mail, priority mail, and then an extra sort of week in case there's any problems. So we're starting so from Monday to the end of the meetings is roughly 4 weeks. And it's compared with other collaborative projects, it's a short amount of time investment. Like I said, it's only an hour or two to assemble your materials, take it to the post office, and then in a 2.5 hour Zoom. And then hopefully you'll connect with somebody and share what you did with their materials and have a new friend. So, and the only cost is the mailing of your box to someone else, which the priority mailbox is now, it's somewhere around $10.50. But that's it. So it's low time and money investment, but I think big fun. So if
Thank
anybody
you,
has any
Laura.
questions.
Lori, thank you. And yeah, there's been other collaborative projects. They've been great because we meet people from all over the United States. And this is just a nice, not super involved one. Really.
Exactly. That's what really appealed to me about this. We do have another one planned to launch after the first of the year called a memoir-based zine. And Jane Sprague is an excellent writing instructor, and she will help people develop their stories. But like Laura Russell's zine, that was a zine that she made for that Recipes for Art. These zines are going to have something from your life. And so we'll talk about that, but it'll be fun and easy and maybe challenging because a lot of people don't like to talk about their lives, but it turns out there are lots of ways you can talk about your life. So yeah.
Great.
So we've got other things coming up.
Great. Well, we love challenges. It's good to think out of the box, right?
I know. And I'm so bummed I didn't do that Recipes for Life. I love what I just saw. That was fantastic.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. So, well, you can still do one. Maybe we'll do another one. So,
okay. Well, I'm going to definitely watch for it.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on. And I have another member, a newer member of PaperWorks, Val Hunt. And let me find Val and ask to unmute. And let me spotlight Val. And Val is, we practiced yesterday, and Val is a newer member of PaperWorks. And Val, tell us about yourself and tell us about your art projects that you have going on. You've led a fascinating life.
Yes, well, thanks for inviting me to give a short little introduction to some of my work. I have been an artist for a long time. I have a degree in interior design, a degree in fine art, and a master's in design, and which I put the two together. And I've taught over 140 classes. That was mostly in Phoenix. And I moved here just right before COVID and joined PaperWorks. So that's why you guys have not seen me, because I'm a new member. When I was doing a master's program at ASU, my thesis was why corporations collect art in Phoenix. And that allowed me to take a lot of art classes. So I took a lot of graduate art classes, and my husband worked for ASU. So I got to take around 13 graduate art classes of just whatever I wanted to take. And 2 of those were book arts with Dan Meyer. And one of them was social practice. And that was with Angela Ellsworth. And why don't we start the slideshow now?
Well, that's right. I'm going to share. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here.
Okay, that's good.
Wait, I can't see it though. Is that it?
I see it.
Let's see, you see it?
I see it.
All right, let me just go back here.
And so I'll talk while she's looking. And when you're taking graduate classes, the teachers always push you to do more, think something outside the box of what you normally do. And in this
Okay.
practice, can everyone see this now? There we go. Okay, stop there. Right. So in the social practice class, you draw from something that means a lot to you. And I like to engage the public and have them participate, get them thinking, get them creating dialogue. So that's what social practice is. Let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to briefly talk about two of the series that I do with this. And one is called Something Your Parents Told You. Some things my parents told me as a child have become emotional baggage, playing silently in the back of my head. So that was the theory behind this. Let's go to the next slide. What I do is I ask people to tell me a phrase or sentence that your parents told you as a child, the first thing that comes to mind. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about what that might be. How I collect these memories is one, in person. So you can see me here collecting memories, and I write them in a little black book that has a special cover. Let's go to the next slide. I also collect it with a collection box. And this is the collection that I got from PaperWorks show at Pima Community College. Thank you for those that did contribute. And by the way, if you did contribute at that show, please don't, well, you can contribute again, but just don't contribute the same phrase. Next slide. And then the third way I collect is the Facebook page. And if you're on Facebook, I encourage you to go to Something Your Parents Told You and contribute your memory. Also, you can just go there and look around. There's hundreds and hundreds of contributions that have been posted. Next page. So what I do with all these phrases is I create artworks. And so in essence, the public is part of the artwork. Here's an example of a card deck. And life is a gamble. We don't choose our parents. It's as if the parent lottery is assigned through the luck of the draw and a roll of the dice. So with this card set, I did about 6 of them, and every set has different phrases. So every card has a different phrase on it. In the front of the card is me sitting there as a little kid. And there's a red one and a black one. So each deck is a different color. Next slide. Also, the things that parents told you are embedded in your mind or filed away. That led me to think, oh, I should do a Rolodex. So I've collected vintage Rolodex and filled them with different phrases. Every Rolodex has a different set of phrases. Next slide. If you're going to do something, do it right. Next slide. Don't crack your knuckles, it will make them bigger. So if you do want to contribute, these are the ways you can do that. valhunt@gmail.com. You can email me. You can go to Facebook. And at the next person meeting, I'll set up a little collection box as well. Some other ideas. Oh, go back, please. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So some other ideas I have to do is one, I want to take a recorder and whisper into it. First, I'm going to do the bad things, and it's going to be like this. Don't be late. Don't ever let me catch you doing that again. Don't hit your thumb with a hammer. So, and I'm going to put that, maybe in a black bag, because it's baggage, and hang it from the middle of a ceiling in a room with nothing else in it. And so you go in the room and then you hear these phrases that are kind of negative. And then I also want to do one, I don't know how I'll do it, that has the good stuff that parents tell you. I don't know if it'll be a whisper or not, but so what I like to do with these series is create installations, and a gallery might have me display all sorts of different artworks that are all related to the series. Some are sculptures, some are books, some are Rolodex. What was the other one I was going to do? I'll also tell you the other idea. Oh, yeah. A lottery wheel. So I want to do something with a lottery wheel. You spin the wheel and a certain phrase comes up. Okay, next slide. So that series is just begun. This is a second series, and I'm not going to talk much about it because I'd like to have you invite me back. And it's called Aging Sucks, but doesn't have to. And it seeks to document my personal observations and frustrations I have with my body and mind getting older. And I'm sure many people can relate to this. Next slide. What I do is I ask people, how old are you deep inside? And they tell me the first number that comes to mind. I stamp their number with these antique stamps that you can see there on the right. And then I photograph their hand. Next slide. I do this at art openings, and people love it. Everyone's walking around with the numbers that they have on their hand, and they're all dialoguing about it. Very proud. Next slide. And then I reverse the image, invert the image to make it look like an X-ray, and create all these artworks. And I do more besides just hands with this series. So that's all I'm going to show you on that.
Great. Well, that's fun. That's fun, Vale. And I just want to say we in the e-news it was wrong. You are Vale Hunt, not Vale Hunter. Correct. So that's your correct name. Any questions or comments for Vale?
I don't have a question, but I was the recipient of one of Val's postcards. And so this is it. And I got this card and I thought, oh, this poor woman, she just had the worst childhood. And maybe you did, but I mean, some of these things in here are really bad. And some of them are fun things, but and some things my mother did say to me as well. But I mean, it wasn't, once I found out what it was all about, I thought, wow, what an interesting exercise, and really a wonderful way to hopefully help somebody unleash some emotional baggage from their own childhood. So great project, Val. Really, really interesting.
Thanks. And Vale, would you put in you might want to put that information in the chat then for people too. So like your address and your email and everything. Okay. Thank you so much. So Vale's one of our new members. So next time we meet in person, say hi to Vale. And yeah, this is great. Okay. We are good on time. I am going to well, first of all, I did want to talk about, hold on just a minute. Let me do speaker view. Let's see. I'm going to split. Hold on. I'm going to spot me. Okay. So our next meeting is November 10th. At St. Francis Church. It is a live meeting. We are also going to try to Zoom it, make it hybrid, which I'll get help from Emily. Cray will be helping with that. We're going to have Michael Schwartz. He'll be talking about the Tucson murals around the city from 11 to 12. And so please bring a guest. I think it's going to be a very interesting program. And also we're going to have a show and sell for our members. So this is a very casual event in that there is no one in charge. I am not in charge. Nobody's in charge. If anybody wants to be in charge, let me know. But we'll have like 10 tables set up around the room. So far, I have 8 people signed up. You may have to share a table. Bring in what you want to sell that you make, and hopefully people will buy it. Or at least we'll get to see what you're up to. So it's great. You know, people make jewelry, cards, artwork, whatever. We're going to be selling from 9:30 to 10 before our business part of the meeting. I'll be talking from 10 to 10:30, and then from 10:30 to 11, another break. You can go around to the tables and look what's for sale. Also, our scholarship table will be set up, and how we earn money for scholarships. Emily Sullivan is in charge of that now. I don't know if Emily's here, but so we're asking the people that do sell something, if they have part of their space on a table, that they donate one thing to our scholarship table, and there all the money goes directly into our scholarship fund. So invite your friends to come to this meeting. Any questions about that?
How do we pay at the next meeting if we want to buy something?
Oh, well, if you're going to be buying something from one of the artists, you just give it to the artist, you know, through the artist.
Don't expect to use your credit card, in other words.
Right, unless that artist, you're right. Good point. Unless that artist has a credit card.
But artists don't like to get checks from strangers, right?
Yeah, I think we're all good. So, yeah, so we don't.
Zelle is always a good way to go if need be for the sales as well, or one of the electronic payment
Or
methods.
PayPal, yeah.
Yeah, but it's PaperWorks in the past has had really big. The whole meeting was devoted to a show and sell, and we probably had about 35 people filling the whole room with tables and advertised it to the public, and it was 4 hours long. That was fun, but then we're getting into the whole taxing and all of that stuff. So anyway, we stopped doing that, but we're happy to see what you make, and if you want to sell stuff to others, please do. And friends. So bring your friends at our next meeting. It's always nice to meet in person. And the new space that we're meeting at is very bright and open, and you can seat a lot of people. So it's a very pretty space. Okay, I'm going to screen share quickly our, let's see, I'm going to screen share our PaperWorks webpage. Let me see here. Come on. Share. And I want to do, let's see. Oh, how do I do? I had this open before. I'm afraid of stopping the meeting to get to our PaperWorks webpage. Geez.
Bobby,
Yeah.
if you stop screen sharing, go into your desktop, just exit full screen, go into your, for your Zoom, exit full screen, go into your desktop, open up the web page. And then
But if I go into Safari and open it up, which I just had it open to, I'm afraid of.
that won't affect the meeting. Just open up the web page.
Shoot, because I just had it open. Okay. All right.
So
All right.
once you have the web page open, then you
Okay.
go back to share
Okay, got it.
screen.
Got it.
Then
Thank
you
you.
should see that. Yeah.
Thank you. I haven't done this for a while, and
Mhm.
hold on. Okay, now let me oh wait. Oh, shoot. Linda, help me.
Hey, Bobby, it's Michelle. If while you're figuring that out, do you want me to give you an education update? And
Sure,
there'll
that'd be
so much
great.
pressure on us watching you.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, we have some classes and workshops coming up, so I'll give a quick update. Suzanne Moore's workshop is full, and we have about 5 on the waiting list, so that's an update on that one. We have an artist committed for April now. Her name is Roberta Lavador. I will be sending information on that one soon. And we now have a workshop proposal form on the PaperWorks website on the education tab. Thank you to Peggy for helping me get that up and Anne for posting it. If you're a workshops member, if you're a PaperWorks member and you want to teach a workshop, fill out that form. If you want a mentor to help you fill out the form or get you started teaching a workshop, we have that question on there as well. And we have 2 committed free days that are sponsored by PaperWorks, a free day being a free day of demo or class. And Mara has agreed to do her collage extravaganza, I'm sorry. And we need 1 more artist who would like to donate their time and teach a free day. So that's the update, and all the information, dates, sign up, and so on is on our website, which Bobby will show you.
I will. Thank you, Thank you, not Mara. Thank you, Michelle.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, and here we go. Can you see my PaperWorks page?
Yep.
Now? Okay, so our webpage has a lot of good stuff on there. I'm fascinated by this Carolyn Congrove's, this picture here. That's wonderful. Barbara Kemp Collin. This is our Postcard Exchange. If you missed that, go and see all the wonderful postcards from there that were posted. We saw the slideshow in September, and you'll see our Recipes for Life is also on there that Mara just did. Spooling Around is our next challenge, and that's our member challenge, which will be deadline February 17th. I want you all to put your creative thinking caps on and see what you come up with. And this time, our entire meeting in April or March, I think March meeting, our entire meeting will be devoted to our Spooling Around challenges. You'll bring them in and we'll have voting, and it'll be a fun event. Okay, there's our Pimas College, and there's Jaden in there. Yeah, Pimas College scholarships. That was from last year. Okay, what I wanted to talk about is Take a Bow and our very talented members. So let me just move on. Let's see, let's just hide this for now. Okay, so right now we have lots of members in juried shows of our members. So Judy Bjorling, who moved away to Washington, but she is in many shows up in Washington, Northwest Collage Society. She has some papers in. Diana Creighton has a big show opening up November 4th through the 28th. And that's going to be at the Herberger Theater Center Gallery in Phoenix. And you've seen Diana's work before. She has the Border series going on, just wonderful paintings. Judy again has work in the Woodinville Arts and Alliance Molebox. Barbara Kemp Collin has an opening tomorrow night, and she's inviting all of you to come. And it's at the One Art Gallery, and the address is here, and the opening is tomorrow night from 5 to 7. It'll be open also through December 5th. And Barbara's wonderful work, her Askew series is great. I love seeing these in person. They're just so detailed and just so fun and different angles. Rebecca Gons is on an online show, Gallery Ring, and she got a finalist, first Rite of Passage, and finalist Native Dress watercolor. I also want to say that she just made it into the National Collage Society. Her piece was accepted, the bicycle piece that was at Pima College. Catherine Nash, a wonderful artist and paper maker, couldn't be here today, but she has a new book, Paper and Color, orderable at the Legacy Press, about pigments. She's one of the contributors to the book. Also, Catherine has a new, she's a new sculpture at Triangle L Ranch, and I was there this past weekend for the Glow Festival and saw it. It's quite marvelous. It looks great at night. So it's really nice to see. Emergence, it was called. It's very tall. You can see it from afar. Looks great lit up. Joe Anderson has work at Light Air Space in New Mexico, print by printmakers. And Sanctuary, handmade book and box. Linda Valdez is at Bracey's Teller 222 Gallery. Some wonderful photographs there. It's very interesting. I love this one. And at Tohono Chul, there are many PaperWorks artists right now at the Fire exhibit. So Joe Anderson has worked there. Carolee Asia has this amazing paper mache bird, what do you call it? Blackbird, raven. It's amazing. And it was at the other show, it was hanging up. It looked like a real raven. You have to see that in person. It was pretty amazing. Vicki Donkersley, her flag book called Remnants. Patty Gardner, Dark Spirits, digital collage. Lynn Hart, her weavings are beautiful. And it was made with mud from the Bighorn Fire. Rain Prayer. Catherine Nash work, Mountain on Fire. So as you can see, we have lots of wonderful wonderful things going on with our members. I also just wanted to quickly highlight creative meetups. And Rebecca, you might want to unmute yourself and say a quick word or two, but I joined the SketchUp group last Saturday. It was so much fun. It was a Zoom meeting, and there are a great group of people, and we just had fun. And Judy led us in some sketching exercises and just showed us how to think and look at work. And I really enjoyed the meeting. So I would urge you to come if you want to. And the other art meetup group we have is Art Book Club, and they meet once a month and discuss art books. September, they read Dorothea Lange, and I'm not sure what's next, but that's what we have going so far. Do you have anything else to say, Rebecca?
Sure. I would invite everyone to think back to some creative meetups you might have been part of previously, especially thinking of before the pandemic when we could get together, as a number of these meetups are able to meet outside or, wherever you might feel safe meeting. And one of the ones that there was a new member who expressed an interest in at the last meeting was to start a collage beyond the gifts that Mara Crummens will be giving us with her collage extravaganza. If you're interested in collage or repurposing items, definitely let me know and I can help walk you through the steps to set something up. Also, I am working outside right now on collaging on an old bench. So there's anything that could happen. Just keep that in mind.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rebecca.
Mhm.
One more thing before we go. I want to just do our last thing about our scholarship. And I just wanted to show you, again, Emily Cray is now helping us with technology, her work, but I wanted to show Jaden's work. And Jaden is, these are 3 different prints. Jaden, if you want to unmute yourself and say anything about them. I think they're very cool. Tell us about that.
So I just was the design in the back is a basketry design, and I was just playing around with it and where I should place it. The first one I did was the center, and then the next 2, I wanted to have it go up, half of it go off the page. So I lined the paper up so I could use the whole block on both papers. So both of the most saturated colors are from the same print, the same like block. I just put the paper together and then a ghost print and then a second ghost print. I was just messing around with where I put them all, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Are you taking printing again at
Yes.
PMA?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm taking printmaking again this semester, and I'll probably stick with this class. I enjoy it a lot.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Well, it's almost 11. I'm going to just take a quick minute break, but does anybody have any questions or comments before we introduce Karen Hamner? It's been a great meeting. We packed a lot in.